Now, when it comes to albums, most of us are more concerned with the music on the record rather than the picture on the cover or case that it comes in. But today, the Best Vinyl Art Award has been announced. The prize goes to the most iconic album. The awards are now in their 5th year, and these are some of the top 10 covers from 2009. The shortlist was chosen by industry experts and also record buyers. The public have been voting online for their favourite. There used to be huge competition, of course. But now some suggest that this art form is being lost in the age of music downloads. Well, in a moment we can talk to the founder of the awards, but first let's see the winning sleeve. And that is the cover of the latest album by the British band Muse, and it's called The Resistance. Well, the art vinyl director, Andrew Heeps, who founded the awards, said it was a great way to celebrate the heroes behind the art. He's with me in the studio now. Let's talk about that winning entry. I mean, what impressed you about it?
Well, it is rather an exciting sleeve, and I think it does sort of like hark back a little bit to the maybe the heyday of album sleeves, the sort of like psychedelic period, one might say. I mean, I think in this one, when we look into it, it's almost like looking into this kind of like keyhole that enters into this exciting world that you then discover when listening to the music. So I think it's an essential part of creating music. Art and music have always been inseparable, and I think this is a fine example where the two fit very beautifully well together.
I mean, I don't think anybody would argue with any of that, but I mean, does anybody really look at album covers anymore, apart from, you know, a small group of record collectors who buy vinyl? I mean, my children, for example, are big consumers of music, and they download all their music from iTunes or whatever. They are not looking at album covers.
I think it's a very very valid point that you raise, but I think when you sort of like work quite closely and talk to a lot of the designers, as we do, the template for music and the design of music starts with the 12 by 12 format. What you see is the beautiful Muse cover there. That will then go out. That will become the icon on the iPlayer, for example, and it will also end up on T-shirts and merchandising. So what starts off as a 12 by 12 canvas, if you like, blank canvas for the designer or the musicians to be involved in, then works its way out and becomes the identity on the tours. So it's very, very important.
So has the art changed as a result of the fact that it's got to be seen, you know, on an MP3 player or a T-shirt?
It's a valid point. Things have got smaller, and I think, you know, the one that's just I've just seen on the screen come up now with the Depeche Mode one is fantastic, because it's quite simplistic, and there's probably less intricate elements to it, so it does still become quite prominent, even in the small scale. But I think the beauty of vinyl records and art vinyl, what we've tried to champion this is about it's affordable art. You mentioned your kids going to the downloads. Fantastic, great way to consume music, but also a great way to consume music is to buy the records as the kids are doing these days, enjoying the artwork. And the beauty is many of the record labels have recognised this, and they're including the download code with the vinyl record, so you get the whole package.
Now, I brought in my own example, that actually belongs to a member of our team. Now, this is an Andy Warhol Velvet Underground cover. Now, look at that. Ooh, hold it up. Coke bottle and lips. I mean, fantastic piece of original art by Andy Warhol. But you don't have great artists like Warhol designing record covers anymore. I mean, they're not going to want their stuff to turn up on iTunes or T-shirts, are they?
I think we've got some fantastic artists out there, and some of the really, really big names are still doing record sleeve design. I mean, notably, we mentioned you know, people like Peter Blake doing stuff still with an Oasis sleeve not so long ago, and this year within the Best Art Vinyl poll, we had a Damien Hirst piece. So I think we've got some very, very contemporary artists, and I think if people want to have a piece of Damien Hirst work at home, for £15 they can buy a record.
What about musicians designing their own? Because that happens a lot as well, doesn't it?
It does happen a lot. I mean, something like this that I've got here, which is a rather nice. Well, it's the first LP from Stone Roses. It's an absolute classic. The work done by John Squire, who's gone on, who's been very famous with his artwork in itself. And I think the closer the musicians are to the music, I think that's where the mix of art and music come together, and I think it's very very exciting to bring them together like that.
Andrew Heeps, I hope it keeps going.
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much.